Welcome. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to discuss on Java interviews. Uh, in this video, we are going to discuss about the basics to the advanced concepts of Java. This video is about how you can dominate your interview if you are going for an interview for a Java interview. This video will be very helpful to cover up all the concepts from basics to the advanced so that no matter interviewer asks the basic concepts or an advanced in-depth concepts, you will be ready for it. Okay. So definitely this will be very helpful, and if you are a beginner or an experienced, uh, there is always uh, new things to learn, and there is always learning phase, right? So let's check out this particular video, and if you have been preparing, you are in the right place. I will be breaking down everything you need to know, from the fundamental concepts to the tricky questions or the tricky advanced topics that might come. Okay, so whether you are an experienced, whether you are a seasoned developer, this will be helpful for you. Okay, so just stick around. We'll be covering up all these particular topics and the interview tips as well. So uh, we'll start with the basics things. So uh, for any programming language, for any interview to be cracked up, right? So the interviewer will focus on your basic concepts. There are very few interviews which will try to directly jump into the questionnaires, but if you see, from out of 100, 99% of them would definitely focus on the basic concepts. Okay, so you have to be very practical and not theoretical. You have to uh, learn things as in you are learning as in practical things, not just mugging up or theoretical things, because interviewer will definitely understand that you have just mugged up, or you're just uh, trying to give an interview without knowing the deep concepts. Okay, so as I listed here, if you see, this would be the very basics fundamentals of the any programming language, or like if you go with Java as an the strong foundation, if you want to cover up. So this will be the concept. So oops, no matter any interview, this will be the one of the questions which will definitely be asked, whether you are 18 years of experience, whether you are passed out, just college fresher passed out, or some intermediate developer. This questions will definitely be asked up, and it will be one of the priority for them. So in this, OOPS concepts like inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, abstraction, composition, aggregation. So you just don't memorize it. You try to come up with the examples. You just give them the examples that he may ask you what is an inheritance. So not only like the definition, you just try to explain with the examples, with the classes, the practical examples. Okay, so this will give you a confidence, because if your basics are strong, no matter if your advanced concepts are not in place, interviewer might skip those mistakes, and he will focus on your strong points. Okay, so if this has to be a crisp, clear understanding and explanation to them, and it should be really crisp, not elongated, trying to bluff the interview. Okay, so core concepts, like you have to be very fluent and crisp, clear with the concepts of the syntaxes, especially the loops, for loops, while loops, conditions, exception handling. Okay, these are the basics things which any developer, any programmer would uh, be accustomed, right? It should be uh, available to work with. I mean, this is the basics things which a developer should be working with day-to-day activities, right? So then comes the collections. Now, this is much broader topics, and this can be a topic where interviewer might revolve around many times, or he might try to ask you a lot of different questions. Okay, so there are different collection frameworks like list implementations, map implementations, set implementations. Like we have individual collections, the interfaces and the implementations, like array list, linked list, hash map, hash set, concurrency like concurrent hash map, copy and write array list, etc. So if you are loaded and you are geared up with learning and implementation of this particular framework, spend some time on it, learn some practical examples, how to write it, iterations. There are different ways to loop, iterate, for each loop, etc. So work with them, understand with them. So this will be there will be many questions around the time complexity, data structures, etc. around it. So your whole interview can be dependent or might be revolving around this also, as this is one of the important topic. Okay, so make sure you prepare on it. So Java memory model. So this is the basic concepts of like when objects are created, what happens. Okay, like how, where exactly it is stored, what is heap, stack, how the garbage collection works, what was the prior to Java 8, how after Java 8 the garbage collection is working, what is the memory changes in it, right? So what are the references, string, like what is strong and the weak references, soft references. Okay, so understand the core structure of Java, how it handles objects, primitive types, etc. Right? How it is behaving and storing. Right? So these are the concept which will uh, revolve around both the intermediate and the experience. You might be asked in the fresher level interviews, but yeah, definitely this will help into make your foundation strong. Now let's move on to the intermediate Java topics. Okay. Uh, so what happens is that uh, after revolving around the basic concepts, now he will be coming up to the advanced intermediate topics. Okay. So there is multi-threading and concurrency API. So there are threads, how to create threads, right? Runnable. So there are different ways to create threads. One is runnable, one is using the thread. There is an executor framework after Java 5, right? Synchronization concept is there. Okay. So you should be knowing about like volatile, synchronized, atomic integers and other atomic thread safe collections, concurrent API which was introduced. So if you have worked on the multi-threading environment or concurrency packages, right? So you need to be very well prepared about it. So there are much deep topics, much more practical examples, and interviewer might trick you. There is a possibility that internet can trick you over here. He may ask multiple one-on-one questions and back-to-back questions on it, right? So there is a possibility that you might not be knowing all the concepts, so be well prepared in this particular area. Okay. Now, if you have been noticing, Java 8 is one of the biggest release and it has got very important features. Okay. So Lambda expression, stream API, optional, functional interfaces. These are the very hot topics and these are definitely being asked up. Okay. There is no optional or you say you cannot skip this particular chance. So I cannot emphasize on the importance and the significance of Java 8, whether no matter the Java is released till 50 or whatever version it is, right? But if you see, this is one of the important release. Okay, and most of the development would be revolving around this particular feature. Okay, so make sure you learn everything. There are intermediate operations, there are terminal operations, how what is lazy, I mean why streams are called lazy. You can dig down to a lot of questions. So if you just check it out with Java 8, there are some practical coding questions. So there are many interviews which focuses on Java 8 practical interviews, right? So they will ask you like how to sort this, how to get the output of this, okay? What is the way to do this? What are the escape limit, etc. So there are different, I would say, thousands of questions which might arise in Java 8, okay? And there is a possibility if you don't answer this, you might fail in the interview as well. So if your basics is strong in Java 8, then this will cover up as part of your interview process, okay? Now there has been multiple releases from Java 8 after that, and Java 9, 10, 11, 17, 21, and up to that 23, like latest versions has been coming up. So there are uh, n number of features been introduced, like module systems, factory methods for the collections, HTTP2 clients, string method enhancement. There are Java files you run with the Java command, text blocks, records, sealed classes. Okay, these are one of the important and the hot topics which are after Java 8, like it will try to test your knowledge on if whether you are upgraded to this particular features, and you have loaded yourself, you have learning. This will make the interviewer understand that you are constantly learning, you are evolving and putting efforts to learn the language. Okay. Uh, so make sure you prepare on this. Okay. Design pattern. Now I cannot emphasize or explain how important this particular topic is about. You cannot just mug up or theoretically learn this particular thing. This implementation is quite important. Knowing what kind of different patterns are available, like structural, creational, behavioral, right? So there are different design patterns available. There are quite important design patterns which we normally use as a framework, right? So there are different frameworks being using this particular design patterns, which helps to solve certain problems. Okay. So not only just mugging up, try to give a practical example. There are many interviews which are focused on creating certain structure or patterns, right? Making use of certain patterns. They'll try to ask you certain design some a parking lot. So these are all dependent on the design patterns. Okay, if you have a strong grip on this, you will be able to crack that. Okay. File IO and serialization. So these are also one of the important topics. What is UID, how to do serialization and deserialization, how to open a file, how to deal with the file. There are text blocks and other stuff, how to write to the files, etc. So these are the important topics you need to prepare yourself. Okay, so when you're going to this particular topics, right? It's quite easy. I mean, if you just prepare this, you'll be in a safe hand, right? Now let's move on to the advanced topic. Uh, this will be based on the interviewer. There might be a possibility that you will be asked, right? So the internal structures. So let's understand. Okay. So JVM internal. Now, many interviewers who uh, after like 3-4 years, 5 years, they will try to focus on whether you're knowing the JVM internals, right? What is the architecture of it? How classes are loaded? What are the different types of class loaders available? What is JIT compilation? How garbage collection works? What was prior to Java 8 and after Java 8? How garbage collection has changed, right? How the structure in the memory is changed, right? What is old generation, new generation? These all concepts which are quite important and which will make interviewer uh, uh, to select you as a candidate if he is interviewing 10 candidates, and if you are crisp clear in your basics, right, he will not think a moment to select you, right? So you will interview 10 candidates, and if he finds that you have answered this concept quite well and you are well prepared in it, not only theoretical, you are practically knowing the concept, so there is a high possibility. Okay, frameworks and libraries. So now Spring Boot is there. There are Kafka, there are Hibernate, JPA, Lombok libraries. There are n number of libraries which are used as which will help you to in the day-to-day development, right? Now dependency injections, etc. So these are the concepts if will make the interview understand that not only core Java, along with that you are making use of the certain libraries and the framework which will be helpful for you for the development. And now no projects or no company would be sticking around just one concepts, right? It will be making use of all those particular features and libraries and the framework, so that it will make your development easy, your life easy for the development. Okay. Microservices and REST API. Now, this is very important, and for today's, if you want to be in the industry and you want to learn and earn and then be in the industry, right? So you cannot skip this particular questions around microservices, REST API. So right from knowing what is like how to create Java APIs, what are the HTTP status codes, how to handle exceptions, okay, how to consume the API, Swagger API, how to after developing your API, how to do that, right? So how to make the code available to the end user, so that he can see how we can test it, JUnit test cases, right? So a lot of things are there you need to be well prepared in. So there has been GraphQL which been uh, emerging, and like now a lot of uh, people are using it, right? So uh, you learn this particular concept, this will be quite helpful, okay? And it give you an edge when it compared to the other interviews, right? Security. Now, this is one of the important topics, and if you go from Java to the advanced topics, right? This questions will certainly be there. Okay, so this will be like how you will tackle the vulnerabilities, how you are migrating from Java 8 to some latest versions. How do you handle SQL injection? How do you handle cross-site attacks, right? Authentication, authorization, SAML, OAuth, right? So there is an identity provider. So there are a lot of security aspects and features which will revolve around securing your application. And if you are prepared in this, I can guarantee you that let's say you have made some mistakes in Java basics and other stuff, but if you're very strong in this particular security concepts, he will definitely skip those mistakes and he will definitely try to hire you, because there is a high probability for a person who knows security concepts will be hired up, right? Uh, okay. Now, overall, when you go for an interview, right, he will not only judge on your theoretical, practical, he'll try to see like how he is behaving, how he is sitting, how he is answering. So he will try to take a look at the behavioral aspect of your overall picture, right? Not only internally, what are you trying to answer? He'll just try to see how you're behaving, how you're professionally attire, your way of communication skills, right? So those will definitely matter. No matter, like there are many, I've seen many interviewees, right? They are very strong, but they have not focused on their attire, their preparation to the communication skills, or to respond to the interview. How can he can the answer to the in a better way, right? And you should know where to stop and where to answer, right? So just explain them, right? So we should be able to understand that when he's trying to interview, you should you're trying to bring some value, not only just learning and giving the interview, so just to for the sake of in cracking that particular interview. No, 90% of them they will look at you like that, right? Now you have to explain your thought process, like when you walk into for an interview, your logical level thinking, you're solving. So there might be a possibility that he might give you a scenario based questions, and he wanted to understand how you make you the loop. What is your logic? I mean, I've seen many interviews where they will focus on the core logic, not on like in the practical the Java coding standards or other stuff, but they will try to understand how you take this particular problem and how do you approach it for the solution, right? If you have done some mistakes, gracefully acknowledge them and tell them that this might be the I might have not answered this, or like acknowledge it and tell them. Let's say he's given you some programming questions, right? So try to fix it, okay? So that how are you going to take an approach and then fix it, right? Now, at the end, definitely many interviewers would like to, at the end, he will try to ask you, like, these are my questions and I've done with my interview questions. You have any questions for me? Or you have any questions related to the projects, process, etc., right? So don't skip this, or, just say that, I don't have any questions, right? Take that opportunity, ask him questions around what can be the project, what kind of the domain it is, what can a person expect when he's been hired up, right? This will give you an edge, and also this will give you a clear understanding whether interviewer is satisfied with you, or like whether he might give you some certain important feedback which would be helpful for you, not only like if you are selected also, or if you are not selected, no, that doesn't matter, right? You will be able to be much more prepared for the next interviews, right? And this will help you, right? So focus on writing clean code, reusable code, learn advanced topics, explain with great clarity and simplicity. Okay, so this will definitely give you an edge. Okay. Okay. So I think let's wrap it up. So I think I've covered up quite topics with respect to Java, and I would say I've tried my all experience to bring it and break it out with including the basics, intermediate, advanced concepts, and I will also practically explain like what kind you explain, or what the interviewer might be expecting from you. So remember, go to an interview with confidence, right, and preparation. So if you are well prepared, you will not definitely be uh, shy, or I would say you will not be lowered with the confidence. So you should go with the upward confidence, and even you are answering, right, don't try to hesitate, okay? uh, just give your best, uh, and if you happen to like this video, and this video has given you and bring in some value to you, right, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. If any of your friends or people around you are looking out for interview preparation, please hand it over or share it with them so that it will be helpful for them as well. Thank you.